Okay, so Leslie, we've got a couple slides for intro, and then really we wanted to begin hosting these roundtables for program directors to really basically be a space where we can all come together and share success stories, but also maybe some challenges that individual programs are having. We can collectively help brainstorm some solutions that program might want to try. I think universally one of the main concerns that I've heard for my number of years being part of this organization is dwindling numbers, or challenges in recruiting students, or just that perennial problem of college students coming into university and not knowing what environmental health is. And so those are things that I think I've spent a lot of time trying to solve myself, and now I think we need to solve it together. So that's what we're doing here today, is just to have a forum where we can share our solutions. Leslie, did you want to present the enrollment trends? I can start us off with really brief introductions, but then do you want to do the enrollment trends, or do you want me to do those? You're on mute.
You can go ahead if that's fine. I can step in if you need to, but
okay, great. All right, we're going to do really brief introductions, and I'm going to call out like the first part of your name on your box, and if it's what I think might be an abbreviation, I'm just going to call that out for ease of time. Okay, so Tanya Bush Isaacson. I'm a teaching professor with Department of Environmental Occupational Health Sciences, University of Washington. I'm the undergraduate program director. I've been the UPC since 2017, I believe, somewhere around there. So that's me. Next person on my box list is Rod.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rod Handy. I am the chair and a professor at East Tennessee State University.
All right, right on. Jeff.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jeff Moody, the program director or UPC for Old Dominion University's environmental health program. I just checked on board here in July, end of July. So I'm new to the position, but I'm an alumni of this program.
Fantastic. Anne Marie.
Hi, I am at the University of Georgia, and since 2008, I've been the program director and internship coordinator for the Department of Environmental Health.
Great, thank you. Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle Maroney, Department Chair of Social and Public Health, Professor of Environmental Health at Ohio University.
Great. Teresa.
Hi, Program Director at Missouri Southern State University in our EHS program for the past 4, 8, something like that years.
Awesome. Mari.
Hi, Mari Eggers, Associate Research Professor at Montana State University, Bozeman, and I've been the Associate Director for the past 5 years, and we've just taken over the program at MSU.
Great, thank you. Mahmood.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mahmoud Nick Bafzadeh. I often go by Nick, so feel free to call me Nick. And I'm Assistant Professor of Environmental Health Science at Cal State San Bernardino, and also the Program Coordinator. Glad to be here with you.
Thank you, Nick. Savar.
Good day, everyone. I am the Program Director and Professor of Environmental Health and Interim Associate Dean for the Health Sciences here at Texas Southern University.
Wonderful. Sunny.
Hello, everyone. I'm the Assistant Professor at Fort Valley State University in the Department of Vet Science and NPH.
Thank you. Guang.
Hi, everyone. My name is Guang Jing. I'm the Professor of Environmental Health and Sustainability at Illinois State University. And I have become the Program Director, I think in 2000. 18-ish, something like that.
Great, thank you. Hill.
Hello, everybody. I'm William Hill, Program Director of East Carolina University, a teaching instructor. And just so you know, I have a 2 o'clock class, so I might have to leave a little early today. Thank you.
Thank you for showing up so close to your teaching. Kim.
Hey, this is Kim Lichfeld from the University of Findlay. I am the chair of the Department of Environmental Safety and Occupational Health. And I've been the program director here for this is my 4th year.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kim. Hill, I think if you could mute yourself, I think we're getting some noise from your background there. Areta.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Areta Samples from down at Fort Valley State University in Fort Valley, Georgia, and I have been the program coordinator here since 2013, and it's good to see everybody. I see some faces I haven't seen in a while.
Thank you. Lee.
Hi, my name is Lee Newman. Hang on, I'll turn on the video so you can see me for a moment. And I am the chair of the chemistry department and the program coordinator for our environmental health major at the State College of New York College of Environmental Science and Forestry. And I have been in this position, our coordinator for environmental health, for the past 10 years.
Thank you. And Rebecca.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Rebecca Uzarski, and I am the program director at Central Michigan University. Our program is maybe a little bit different. It's an interdisciplinary program between 2 colleges, the College of Science and Engineering and the College of Health Professions.
Great. Thank you. Did I miss anyone? I don't think I did. I think all the boxes stopped moving around. Okay. Leslie, can you advance the slides, please? I need to make it so I can actually read it. Okay, so just a little glimpse as to what the EHAC accredited program enrollment trends are looking like from 2014 on to present day. So for the last 10-ish years, we are seeing a drop in not only the number of accredited undergraduate programs, but also the number of graduated environmental public health undergrads. Same with graduate level. We've got, we're actually up to 11 accredited graduate programs as of now this year. So we at least went from 9 to 11, and we'll see our additional 3 hopefully adding to the number of graduates from graduate level education EHAC accredited programs. So not super great news from, you know, the amount of professionals that we're training and getting out there into the workforce, but it does allow for a lot of opportunity to grow, right? I mean, if we want to spin it and look at a silver lining, we've got a lot of room for growth. Okay, Leslie. So every year, Leslie sends out a survey around enrollment challenges and barriers, and also through just conversations with program directors over the years, she's been able to distill kind of the main priority concerns from programs. Of course, we've just looked at the real numbers for overall decreases in enrollment, decreases in program, but that correlates with decreases overall with university enrollment. We have a very real challenge with competition from public health undergraduate degree programs that have really, you know, popped up and are doing remarkably well. We have our own undergraduate public health, global health degree, set of degrees. We have a BA and BS at University of Washington. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you how we've been, I think, pretty successful at addressing this challenge. So that's one of the concerns that has been relayed through these surveys. Another is just the lack of familiarity with environmental health sciences from high school students coming in or from community college. And for those of you that know me, there isn't an opportunity that I let go by without talking about how I think we are really missing an opportunity to inform high school students what the profession of environmental public health is and does and contributes to community through the AP Environmental Science class. Because that class, if any of you have had kids that have taken that class, will know that at least half of that class is environmental public health work. And throughout the class, our profession is not one that is mentioned, as examples of what you can do if you're really excited about this particular, field of study. And so you get students that come out of high school that have taken an APES course that go in and look for the environmental science, degrees on campus, and they're very popular because of the AP Environmental Science. And so every time I have an audience, I like to just inquire as to whether or not anybody is on the College Board, because the College Board is the organization that makes a difference they host and they refine, and they actually are in charge of the AP exams. So if we can break into the College Board priorities and thinking about how we can message getting environmental public health actually into that course, or at least stated that a large amount of the content is environmental public health, I think we would make a huge, significant difference and inroads into the familiarity for the high school student level. So that's my soapbox. I'll get off of that now. The last priority challenge was the difficulty of some of our EHAC criteria requirements, especially chemistry, and the reporting of the hazing or the weeding out of students in STEM, in particular around organic chemistry. Okay, so we also ask about, to give specific examples of successes to increase enrollment for your individual programs. And on the slide are a variety of the types of initiatives and whatnot that various programs have tried and have been successful at increasing their enrollment. Anywhere from centralizing student engagement and advising, using students to recruit students. I know we also experience that peer-to-peer engagement is really, really impactful. So, we do things to support that, like supporting the student environmental health group has really been a winner for us. We give them a certain amount of money per quarter that they can then host various study sessions, or they run the gamut from study sessions to movie previews to field trips to like Boeing or wherever else they might be interested in going. And not only do they make sure that all of our majors are, informed as to the opportunities, but they also reach out to prospective majors. So the students are great. Word of mouth among new hires with degrees and current employees needing bachelor degrees to change job or for promotion. I think, again, it's just the word of mouth. Certificate incentives with degree programs. I'm hoping that one of the programs that's on the line today can talk maybe a bit more about that. We don't have a bachelor certificate allowance, that's not a thing for UW, so I'm really interested. Degree program change. So this is one that I will just say that has been the most impactful for us. So we've gone from when I took over, our undergraduate enrollment was hovering around 50. And this year we will break 100 with our majors. And I really, we've done these steady curriculum changes to really streamline what it is that they need. We've done a lot of engagement with student environmental health associations, all of the other work. We have a lot of support network for our students for advising. But the thing that was constantly, we would hear from our global health, our public health, global health students was, God, I wish that I had found you when I, actually applied for the public health, global health degree. Like, this is what I really want to do. And so what we did, because before we were just environmental health undergrad, we inserted the public in there. So now our undergraduate degree is environmental public health. And it has been night and day game changer. So I put that out there for any of you that want to go through that like 2-year process of getting your name changed. It really does make a difference. And then lastly, we've got a couple more international recruiters. The degree program reputation has been something that, has been an example of its success. And then lastly, for master programs, waiving the GRE requirements. So I've talked a ton right now, and I'm going to stop. And what I want to do is open it up for others to share a point of success and maybe a challenge that you want to put out there. And actually, let's do this differently. Raise your hand if you have a success to share, and if you have a challenge, put it in the chat. Go ahead, Lee. What's a success?
Hi there. So one of the things that we've been talking about is increasing enrollment and getting more students involved in the programs. So we're doing 2 things. One is when we have college-wide open houses and we're talking about the different programs and different majors to prospective students and new students, I make sure to have at least 3 or 4 of my students who are presenting with me. And I always tell everyone at the start of my presentation, I'm here to answer questions for the parents, and my students are here to answer questions that the students might have, because I know that you'd prefer to talk to another student rather than to me. And that works out really well. And the students who are in the program are very enthusiastic, and they do way more to convince other students, prospective students, to come into the major than I could do alone. The other thing that has been a success is that we developed and launched last year a high school course that is taught as a history course, so it will transfer into our program as a history general education course, but it's the history of environmental health issues in the US. So we have it set up that we give the high school teachers this program packet, and the first lectures are going to be, what is environmental health? What are the fields in environmental health? What can you do as an environmental health profession? But then it can be personalized depending on the interest of the faculty member and the students. So we give them about 12 to 14 different things talking about different issues in environmental health that have happened around the country and how this impacted the history. So we talk about the smallpox yellow fever in Washington, D.C. We talk about 3 Mile Island. We have programs in there about Love Canal. All of these are environmental health issues, and the professor can pick those modules that are going to best resonate with their students. So if the students are very environmental engineering oriented, they can talk about more of the Love Canal type of things, or if they're more health oriented, they can talk about more of the health things. One of the other ones that we have in there is about how diseases have impacted history over time. So it's had a lot of success as far as faculty members, being high school teachers, being very, very interested in presenting this program to their class. It's a college level credit, so the students can transfer these credits to the college. Transfers as a history, which is easy to do, so we don't have to get heavy into the science of it, but it really helps to promote our program.
Thanks, Lee. Kim.
And this is Kim. So this year, and we've been pushing for many, many, many years, we've finally been approved to have a dedicated recruiter for our program specifically. So they'll be going out and kind of picking out. Dr. Murphy has been trying to balance that between teaching and then going out to high schools and things like that. But this person will do that full time. And also work on our social media presence.
Oh, that's great. And of course, Tim is really good at convincing people. So that's a win-win to have him doing that.
Absolutely. So he's going to step down from that. He's been doing that for the last 3 years. And so now we're going to actually have a full-time hired person to do that. So
wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Kim.
Kim, is your university funding that?
Yes and no. They are funding it because our joint advisory board has been really pushing and pushing and pushing to the point that, you know, it's kind of like get out of my face type thing. But it's good because they finally are realizing like that we also have the All Hazards Training Center as part of our program. And so they can't do well if they don't have students. So it's important for them as well. So it's a revenue builder for them, kind of all around and long term. So they have seen that. So yeah, they are helping to support that this year.
Thank you. Any other questions for Kim? Or for Lee, that matter? I should have opened up the floor for questions. Nope. Okay, Anne Marie.
Hi, I wanted to talk a little bit about our retention problem and the solve we're trying to do. We had just started it, so we don't know if it's going to be successful yet, but we have a 1 hour kind of survey of environmental health class. So a lot of students around university just have to have 1 hour to be full-time. So we usually try to get those in there and then recruit them. But what we're doing now is requiring all EHS majors to take this class in one of their first 2 semesters up so that they'll really fall in love with the major. Otherwise, they don't get into their EHS major classes until later after they've taken the chemistry. That can discourage them. So we're trying to get them super excited about EHS before they have difficulty with our intro first chemistry class.
That's a great idea. Any questions for Anne Marie on how that works? Lee, I'm going to point you to questions in the chat for you.
Okay.
And Sunny, go ahead.
Hello, Dr. Sample. Have a question. So I'm just standing in for Dr. Samples. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry. For some reason, I can't find the raise your hand icon on my computer today. So I'll let Dr. Weezy raise his hand for me. But one of the things I wanted to mention that we've done is specific, really directed towards our international students because, you know, they're emailing for information about the program and then they may have questions. Most of my international students come out of Nigeria, Ghana, or India. And so we've identified students within the program that are working in our office as graduate assistantship students from Nigeria, Ghana, and India, so that when these students reach out to me for information about the program and they start asking questions that I'm not really the best person to answer, like, where do I find a place to live? How do I get there? What happens when I get to the Atlanta airport? How do I get to Fort Valley? I usually hook them up with one of the students from there that's here with us, that's from their country, that understands firsthand the challenges they're going to face to get here. And then that person becomes somewhat of a student pen pal to them, if you will. And it seems to work out really well. I mean, they get a lot of their questions answered, and they get de-stressed because, somebody can say, hey, it's not that bad. I've done it. It's no big deal. This is what you need to do. And they seem to do much better. And plus, by the time they get here, they've got somebody they've been emailing and even talking to on the phone, so they don't feel like they're coming into a house full of strangers. They've got somebody on this end waiting for them.
Oh, I love that idea. Student buddies.
Exactly.
That's great. Does anybody have any questions about the student buddy?
Connie, I'm sorry. I posted 2 questions in the chat, so I'm not sure if you saw it. I had a question regarding the international recruitment, since it was also mentioned right now. So how do you do that? How, we go about that? And second, when you changed the name of the program, did you have to change the curriculum as well?
Oh, yes, I did respond to the second one, the name change. We did not have to change the curriculum. However, we did end up changing some of the curriculum because we were trying to streamline some of the credits. So we dropped one of our physics class requirements, and we changed our math from calculus to the algebra, college level algebra, which, like, for most of our students coming in, they've already met all of the math. They're not taking any more math. As far as international students go, does somebody want to speak to that?
I'll jump in on that. Our students are our best recruiters for international students. They tell people back home, how it is here and how Fort Valley State is, and that's generally how most of my international students come, as word of mouth. We don't really have a recruitment program per se for internationals, but we sure do seem to attract a lot of them, because we're probably right now at about 10% of our overall enrollment is international students.
Nick, do you have something to add about international students? You raised your hand when I asked that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's difficult. It's a little bit difficult because one major issue is many of the international students will not get the visa to get to the States. And this is the experience we have with our public health and nutrition, the other programs in our own department, that we receive a lot of applications. We accept many of them, but at the end, just a small portion of those can really get into our program. And that makes it a little bit difficult for programming and all those things. You expect, like, you don't know what population of students you should expect at the beginning of fall semester, for example. To plan better, sometimes you have to cancel the classes because of low enrollment. And so international student is something that not everything is in the hand of a campus. You can do everything on time, but at the end, the students just simply don't get visa, never can get into the state. So I don't know if that's a solution, or we can rely on international students in order to significantly increase our enrollment. Just one more thing I would like to add is I've been program coordinator in the past 3 years. And before COVID, we had over 50 students in our environmental health, like close to 55, I believe. After pandemic, it was reduced to something to like 35, and eventually in 2022 was the lowest one, like 20 something, 22. And I've been trying hard in order to increase it, at least returning back to where it was before the pandemic, if not more. Some challenges are on the way, and you summarized them in the slide you showed in the three categories of challenges. I've seen all those in front of us. And despite a lot of efforts, what you get is not that much. Again, because of many different issues. It's not a single factor problem. Many things led this problem to remain and not to be resolved that easily. I can talk about it later on, but it's a complicated issue. Partly depends on socioeconomic situation of where your campus is located, what type of students do you have, what population you're dealing with, and many more. I think it's complicated. It's not just one or two or three things to be addressed. It needs a lot of efforts and for a long time, my opinion and my experience.
And if I could just add on to what Professor Nick said, today is a very important day in the history of our country because, of course, it's election day, and we're not going to get into political discussions. But I will say that since I've been program coordinator since 2013, there are some presidential administrations during which we have gotten hardly zero international students have been able to get visas. There are other administrations where they have poured in here and nobody's had a problem, and we've gotten 3, 4, 5, 6 in one semester that came through. So, I think our political climate sometimes affects the international pipeline, if you will, for the international students as well. Oh, and by the way, I have to do my little plug as a Southern American. Don't forget, get out and vote.
Amen to that. Anne Marie.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to that a little bit with this idea of having someone who is very similar to you or from the same country to help navigate, the challenges of the university. We were going to do this as a 1 credit hour class, but now UGA has these non-credit experiential learning things that go on your transcript. So we're going to, this proposal will take a while to go through, formalize a mentorship program in EHS. So students can request a mentor that may be a first gen college student, college student of color, LGBT, etc., so that they can have a mentor, like I said, navigate the challenges of the university and kind of connect them with some resources, and address things that are specific to them that students who haven't had those experiences, can't help them with, nor me, nor I.
When you say formalized, do you mean so they take like independent study credits, or what? How does that work?
So this will be a formalized program that will go on their UGA transcript as an experiential learning opportunity. And they will go through, they have to have a certain number of hours. They will go through some mentorship training. They'll be assigned a mentor and given almost a syllabus of sorts of what's expected of them. They'll also have to reflect on what they're doing, and their mentees will also have to evaluate them. So that's what I mean by formalize it, not just kind of introducing, but it's something that's on the official transcript. If we didn't have that program coming up, this experiential learning transcript, we were going to try to make just a 1 credit hour environmental health science mentors something or other. But this fits the bill, and we don't have to worry about adding a credit hour or finding a place to put a credit hour.
That's amazing. I hope that you keep us updated on the adventure of getting that through.
Can I just add something real quick?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so in one of the ways we show our student or showcase our student is making them visible. Like we have what in FVSU, we have the month of pride every month, and our department, despite it's very small, we make sure that we feature in those months of pride, you know, showcase what we are doing every month in our department. And also, this fall, 7 of our students are going to be graduating. And in the media, they reached out to us because I'm part of the commencement committee, and they reached out to us, you know, if we have anybody we want to showcase. And at least 5 of the students are going to be there, you know, telling about their stories, their challenges, and how they're able to overcome to graduate. So in that process, we are showcasing the department, and from there we are getting a lot of other students coming. Then as well, I'm talking about the undergraduate students. This evening or tonight at 7 p.m., one of my students is going to be presenting in an undergraduate class talking about the process, how to come to a master's program. From that process as well, other students are going to see that this department actually does exist, because not a lot of people know about our department. In that process, we're going to get more students come through, hopefully.
Wonderful. Taking every opportunity to market your program. Yeah. Lee, you've had your hand up for a while there.
All right. So one of the things that I wanted to say that we've been doing, not necessarily in marketing, but in student retention, which works really, really well for us, is we have kind of like what was talked about earlier, is we have a 1-credit orientation course. And in that course, we do a lot of team building exercises of getting the students to know each other, do activities together. We also have at least 4 upper division students in the class that work as peer mentors / TAs for the course, so that no matter what course a student is having a hard time with, they know that they can reach out and someone else is there that can help tutor them, mentor them through the course. And in that course, we also have professionals in the field of environmental health come in and give a talk about their career paths, what their degrees were, how they went through college, what jobs they've had, what they're doing now, what the internship opportunities are in environmental health, and what the job opportunities are once they graduate. So by the time the end of the semester comes around, this is not just a class of students, this is a group of friends sitting together, supporting each other. And even though our program has even more strict requirements, so we have a year of calculus, a year of chemistry, a year of organic, a year of physics, we have very, very few students dropping out of our program or switching to other programs. And we probably have more students transferring into the program as they learn about it than we have students transferring out. And it's a large portion of this is because of that work that we're doing of building this team. We're all in this together. We're going to support each other. We're going to do whatever we can together. We do drop-in Friday peer tutoring sessions. We have a very active environmental health club. And I think that's one of the things of keeping students in the program, is to make them feel that they're part of something, that they're not just in a major, they're not just taking classes, they're part of something bigger. And our students are so proud of being in this program. It's just absolutely amazing. And, you know, that's something that we all have to work on, is build that level of community for our students.
Yeah, I could not agree with that more. Our students also really are hungry for the kind of the community. And I mean, what we hear a lot about from our students are, we really appreciate that it's a smaller degree and we can like get to know everybody in the degree, and we have all of these activities that really, you know, get us together. And we do a lot around food. Like we make sure that they are fed every time we get together, not just pizza, but like we've expanded our repertoire to include banh mi's and other kinds of food. And the community, I think, is something that everybody is really starving for after COVID. Like we've really not ever revisited the trauma we all experienced during that. And this is one way to try and like heal some of that, I think. I wanted to just go back to the chat for a moment before Zavar, before you talk, sorry. Clearly I need some more coffee. Nick had posted something here in the chat about how your campus is not classified, or your environmental health science isn't classified as a STEM major, which is like mind-blowing to me. We kind of went through this though a number of years ago, and I believe it's really explicitly like laid out in, I want to say, the Department of Defense, like the US Department of Defense, somewhere like environmental health science is actually listed as a STEM degree. And so maybe one of the things that I can do is go find that, because that's just evidence you can provide your provost or whomever is making those decisions, because we are listed, our program is a STEM program.
Yeah, and also they're a major employer because I used to work for the government for 30 years. So that's a requirement for if you're going to do environmental health. So I was at the Navy retiree commander, and you have to meet EHAC accreditation requirements for their program authorization to get a commission. So that's what we're going through right now, is that I mentioned in the chat was this competition between bachelor's of public health programs and the BSEH, where most people choose the route of convenience and it's easier because of the less sciences. So that's what I'm trying to rebuild within our organization of, hey, we can help you to get through those organic and chemistry, because I even struggled back in the day too. But the pathway of a reward in your future careers is immense.
Absolutely. That challenge, I think, it's certainly something that we've faced. The creation and the runaway train that our undergraduate public health, global health degree is. Like, they have 600 students in that degree. And they went from like 50 to 400 overnight. It was just mind-blowing. But again, I've heard for so many of their students really, expressing how they really wanted to do environmental health work. It's just they didn't know that that was what it was. So, and the other thing I will say about that is that I'm hearing from our employers in our community that the graduates of the undergraduate public health, global health, just simply, I mean, they can't sit for the REHS or RS. They come out and they can't do the work of a sanitarian. And so there's a lot of partner, how shall I say it? A lot of my partners are very stressed out about it, and they can't understand why you can have a public health degree and not meet the workforce demands. Because, as you probably all know and have experienced, that you're only viewed as your institution name. Like, everybody is UW. Like, the individual departments don't make sense to people outside of academia. And so when they're talking about UW, the degree is the degree, the university is the university, and they don't understand why their workforce demands needs are not met. So that is something that is a challenge that we're trying to work through. Savar.
What I'm sharing with you came out of the meeting that Leslie set up for me with Drs. Murphy and Jason. And so the suggestion that I got from that meeting was, it was mentioned right now also, that the connecting with the high school counselors, and that I have started preparing a list of possible high schools to visit, and I am willing to offer a lecture for their students, and hopefully that would help. So these are just, I started working on this. I just want to share with you. Also, another important suggestion to me was a very good suggestion. So when I was discussing the program, I mentioned that the same thing. I think another one of my colleagues mentioned today, that I don't get to see students until later on when they get to the professional phase of the program. So I have proposed changes to our curriculum. So I would start offering an hour or 2-hour credit courses at the very first semester that students get to the university. Because I do have a good number of students that when they get in the university, they put their major as they declare their major as environmental health. But I ended up losing so many of them by the time that they got to me. So I have made changes to the degree plan, which hopefully by the fall of 2025, it would go in effect, and I would start seeing them at the very first semester, and hopefully that would help me to get them to stay with the program and, kind of guide them to get to the point when they start taking full pledge environmental health courses.
Do you get a lot of non-majors in that course as well? Is it like a gateway course to the major?
No, I don't. So I did propose to add, we have an intro to environmental health, and I wanted that to be one of the gen ed courses that everyone can take it as a non-science course, if elective course. But very occasionally I get 1 or 2 students taking that class that are not major in environmental health.
Okay. I'm curious to know how many others have intro courses that are open to everyone. That is a really great gateway course. We have like 4. One that I'll talk about is we have a films course. So the students, it's a 3-credit course, and they watch a variety of environmental public health related films, and then they critique the films, and they learn about environmental health through media, basically. And that's been a popular class that has gotten people really interested in it. It's a 200 level. And then we also have a 100 level, like all things environmental health. Isn't this the coolest, sexiest thing you've ever seen? Come and join us, kind of rah-rah class. So I'm curious if others also have those kinds of courses.
This is Kim. We have like a ISO 100 course, environmental and society course. And so we talk about kind of the various aspects, and we've gotten some students like transition in from that. But then again, we are also hearing, I'm taking this as my senior year. I wish I knew about this program earlier, because it's a general education course.
Okay. Nick, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, back to the STEM issue. I even printed out, I found from the Department of Education that environmental health is one of the STEM majors. And I think nationwide, what Department of Education says should be the basis for many decision makings. And I passed it on even to our college and dean, but they said, no, still just a few majors that they recognize as major is STEM. And but you can write on your website that, hey, you're a STEM, but it doesn't help because they receive a lot of money from external sources. I think last time they received like $2.5 million in order to promote STEM fields, and not even a penny of that goes to us. So a lot of things, as you're informed, when you're getting out to do it or publish the things or meeting with the people, it needs money. Not everyone, and I don't know to say it's good or bad or whatever, but not everyone is is ready to do the things without receiving money. That's a little bit sad. I wish that was not the case, that the people, even faculty, had the willing to do the things, to take some steps without for every single step receive some money. But that's unfortunately the case. You can't send the people out and ask them to do the things if they find that it does nothing for them. At least this is what I see around myself. If it's different with yours, good for you. But I've not been successful to convince the people to do extra things if they found that they don't get anything. So when millions of money goes just to physics and biology and chemistry, then they have hundreds of students in each of them. Or when it comes to nursing, thousands of students or 1,000 more staying outside just to get into the nursing. When it comes to us, we just completely push to the corner because no resources there to pay for the extra things. And the people are not that much willing really to get involved. Even they have a lot of payment for guidance of the students, counseling the students, take them out, take them to the tours, bring invited speakers, and all those things help. But if we want to touch it, that it's close to us, they say, no, it's just for biology and chemistry and computer and those, you're not STEM. Because I don't know who, at what time, based on what, defined that we've not STEM and we're health science. So that's a problem. I don't know. We're health science. I don't know where STEM, because as one of the colleagues earlier said, I think environmental health is mostly like an interdisciplinary thing. We have some dimensions of STEM, some dimensions of engineering, some dimensions of public health. So that's a problem. Back to the other things you said. We've started, but it's not yet been approved because it's a long process, often takes months and months, to recognize some of our EHS courses as general education, as we call it, GE. So like principles of environmental health, which is the gateway to the environmental health. This is one of the first courses that anyone should take to just know what environmental health really means. And the other one is like principles of toxicology, which is an exciting class. And I mean, regardless of environmental health, you can learn a lot from that, which is even useful for your personal life. So we try to those two classes to be recognized in GE. And the other things that we've started, and I hope it approved very soon, is, you know, that California State University is a system and has 23 campuses over 550,000 students. It's the biggest university system nationwide. And we try to not just keep those two courses as GE within our own campus, but sending it out and create an online version of that. So everybody in 23 campuses has access to and be able to enroll and learn about it. And the main reason behind that is not just to take two classes, but make them interested in environmental health. Just let them know that first of all, what environmental health is, that most people have a challenge understanding that and that they don't know anything about it. And hopefully by taking those two classes, or at least one of them, then we make more people, more students interested and then bring them in. Even if not in our program, in other program within the Cal State, which is still good for the profession and for the major. So these are part of the things that we've been trying to do. Thank you for the time you've given to me.
Thank you very much. I recognize we have 6 minutes left, and I really wanted to at least pose the question to you all. You know, we're going to try and have these program director roundtables on a frequent basis. So if you could put in the chat, you know, generally, is the quarterly roundtable, is that schedule good? Is it too much? Is it too little? Like you feel like we should be meeting monthly? That would be a good thing to know. But then also, what kinds of topics would you be really interested in coming together and discussing? And so if we could take maybe a couple minutes and put it in the chat, and what Leslie's going to do is basically take all of our conversation here and summarize it and get it out to all of us, because I know a lot of good ideas were shared. And if you're anything like me, they sounded really good at the moment, and I wrote something down, but I won't remember or see what it like make sense of it. So the notes will be very helpful. And then, yeah, moving forward, hopefully we can continue coming together and share solutions so we can move forward together. So with that, I will thank you all so very much for your participation. And if anybody has any parting words, the floor is yours.
Tanya, thank you. I only wanted to say that this is great. It helps a lot to know what other programs are experiencing and how we could all work together to promote environmental health sciences. I do agree with all of the comments and all of the suggestions that have been posted. We need to start early, high school level, middle school level, introduce them to environmental health, because I bet a lot of people do not know what really it is. They might misinterpret it with other classes of environmental health and safety or other programs that are out there. So starting early might help. And it's been really echoed severally at this meeting. I joined late, but I've heard it at least twice. So I really want to thank the group for all the suggestions.
Thank you, Nesta. I'm glad that you were able to make it. It's good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you.
Kim.
Yeah, so I would ask and I know that's something we're working on too, is materials that have less words on them. So when we go to high schools and middle schools, like there is, and I forget what document it's in, but Dr. Murphy has it in one of his presentations where it looks like this like spaghetti monster. And it has like all the different arms within that, like what you can do with this degree, from law to public health to, environmental, all of the things, right? From safety, it's all encumbering into this. And that's awesome. What our board has asked is, can we make it into something that is interactive, like through, and I'm not versed in this, is Power BI. And so like, if you would click on something and it would like zoom in and like have a presentation on, this is what I do in this part of the arm in this particular aspect of the job, right? So, and so students can kind of go in and say, okay, well, what does the law portion do? Okay, here's an environmental lawyer who talks about their position. And then they could, and has like short things. And then the other one is just like completely pictorial. So like all the stuff that we send out to our students through admissions, right? It usually has like one picture and then lots of words. Well, how do we change that to be more of like visual? Because again, these students are used to seeing 15-second sound bites, visual bites of information, and not like lots and lots of words. So just something to work on in the background, but it would be really great if as an organization, we can kind of do this together. So it's one voice happening.
I love that. Leverage it all. It'll then cost us all a lot less, right? If we're all doing it together. I have not seen the spaghetti monster.
I will send it to Leslie. I have it. I just call it a spaghetti monster, but I will send it out.
It's the EPA word mind map, right?
Yes. Yes, Leslie.
I have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jeff, you put a vlog, and Jeff put a note in the chat about a vlog, putting that on their program landing page. I have totally thought about actually coming up with short story podcasting kind of thing, just going out and interviewing professionals in the field, just very short, like not the 3-hour Joe Rogan kind of podcast.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But
yeah, something that's digestible within 15 minutes. I mean, if you want to find out a career like some like FDA colleagues, just ask them those simple questions so that when they do understand or start seeing that they have interest in any of that, and they click on that and they go, oh, this is what the